What's up, YouTube? So I was able to finally get it to go here. That's why I wanted to do this tonight. Dan the UltraDad here. Just trying out a live stream. Never done one of these before. Hope all is well out there. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, so right now we have 0 viewers. That's okay. Don't really. I didn't really advertise this stream. So I thought I was doing that, but I was actually advertising or notifying of a private stream. So probably no one saw that, but it does look like we have 1 viewer. I wonder who that is. Definitely put something in the comments below and say hello. This is my first live stream as the Ultra Dad. Hope all is well out there. So I'd be curious to see who that 1 viewer is. Hey, what's going on? Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate you logging in. I don't think I notified my subscribers of this video ahead of time. I thought I had done that, but in reality, I think I had just done a private stream. So I flipped it to public, and then I just started it. So it's kind of going to be luck of the draw to see who joins up. But mostly tonight, I just wanted to test this out because I'm going to be interviewing Ultra Trail Steven on Thursday. I wanted to make sure I tried to work out some of the kinks. So, Jordan, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. If you have any questions, definitely mention it in the comments below. I'd love to chat with you. So, I guess to start it off, where are you from, Jordan? Or anyone else that's watching? We got a couple more viewers now. Definitely put in where you're from in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. I just got done saying that I'm doing this tonight, kind of getting ready for my live stream that's going to be coming up on Thursday night. I'll be interviewing on April 1st, Thursday night at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be interviewing Ultra Trail Steven, who I've gotten to know a little bit. He is, hey, what's going on, Nicholas? Thanks for joining from Montreal. Wow, that's great. I love Canada. Now I've actually never been to Montreal. I've been to Toronto a few times, and last summer I was over. Not last summer, but the summer before last. If you've watched my channel at all, I ran the Fat Dog 120 over in Vancouver, so the other side of the country. But really, really love Canada. Hey, Jordan from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, so I've never spent much time in Oklahoma. I've driven through there a few times on the way out west to Colorado, but definitely this. I know it's probably stereotypical, but I know there's a lot of tornadoes there. We get some of those here in Ohio too. In fact, we had a huge outbreak of tornadoes about 2 years ago in Dayton, Ohio. We had, I think it was like 17 tornadoes in one night. Thankfully, only a few people lost their lives. That sounds bad, but it could have been much worse. Bunch of property damage though. So, and it's taken Dayton, Ohio. Even now today, whole neighborhoods are wiped out. So it's been pretty tough. But so Jordan's from Tulsa, and we got Wolf Narwhal. I know Wolf Narwhal. That's my daughter. So thankfully, I didn't know if I'd have any viewers tonight, so I convinced my own daughter to log in. That's pretty bad, but not because she's in. I appreciate her joining, but the fact that I'm asking my kids to take time out of their evening to help me out. So thank you, Wolf Narwhal. I appreciate you watching. So check out her channel. She's got quite a creative little channel. She does a lot of drawing, and so it's really exciting. But so all right. Well, again tonight I'm just kind of trying to, and I apologize if you saw my post of when I was going to have this. I said that it was going to be at 10:15, and I changed my mind because Ryan Clayton is doing his at not at. I thought it was at 9, so I switched to 10:15. Turns out his is at 9. His is actually at 9:45. So I thought maybe I'd squeeze this in before his live stream. So of course he usually has far more viewers than I do. I think he's usually got 30 or 40 people watching at a given time. Anybody, Nicholas Jordan, or anybody else that's watching, if you're new, if you haven't mentioned in the comments where you're viewing from, definitely mention that. Hey, Chase, what's going on? What's up, Dave? Uh, it is. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I don't know if you can. I'm sure everyone can see the comment. Live is a whole new level of awkwardness. Good luck, dude. I'm gonna try to add this, show this to the bottom. There we go. Highlight that. It is. It definitely is. I'm kind of like I'm a people person for sure. So I kind of talk to myself all night long. If you ask my wife, it's pretty annoying, but it definitely is a little bit awkward sitting here talking into a camera. So I'm trying to focus at the lens of my camera, but I want to look at my computer at the same time. So certainly it is a rush, Nicholas. It is. It's a little bit difficult to look both places. So anyway, yes, I do embrace the awkward. Absolutely, Jordan. Absolutely. So anyway, there's Mr. Allnut. That's my dad. I was just telling everyone that it's pretty bad. I recruited my family to log into the live stream because I wanted some of their input. So my dad's watching, Mr. Allnut there, watching from Beaver Creek, Ohio. So hey, Dave, thanks again for stopping in. I don't know if anyone has, I'm sure most of the people here, all four of you, have seen Chase the Summit's page and channel, but he has some pretty awesome reviews of technology. So I definitely look up to him for that. So Chase, or Dave, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, Dave has a great channel. Check it out. Actually, I recently purchased the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus GPS watch, and it was partly because of his. Let's see if we can pull focus here. No, I'm not in the light, but there it is. And I've got it on my wrist right now. But I purchased this watch in large part because of some reviews I watched on his channel. So thanks again, Dave, for that. I appreciate that. Um, all right. So let's see. Jordan says, how's your training going? What are you shooting for in terms of weekly mileage as you prep for your 100? Well, all right. So let's be honest. My mileage every week, it's always a challenge. So I don't want to make too many excuses, but it's still struggling. I mean, I'm I'm probably something like 30 miles a week, 40 miles a week. It's got to go up. It's got to go up in a major way. I've done 100 before. I did a 100-miler back in October when I ran the Mohican 100. So if you have, if you've watched my channel, I did a whole video on that, and definitely check that out. It's called my first 100-miler, and so actually a pretty good video. Got some views, and I really enjoyed making it. So, but anyway, so I kind of know what to expect, except the race I'm going to be running is probably about twice as difficult from a vertical gain standpoint, which is, as you know, if you watch my channel, is the Cruel Jewel 100. So I need to get my butt in gear. Bottom line, so it's not perfect right now. So no more golf, no more golf on the weekends like I did this weekend. I missed my big long run this weekend, so shame on me, but we'll work on that. Hopefully it gets better. So let's take a look here. Any other comments? No, not yet. So anyway, let's see. Let's talk more about, I was going to tell you more about this watch. So the Fenix 5 Plus, I got it because I want to do a comparison between this watch and my my Coros Apex. So I own both watches. I've really enjoyed the Coros Apex. I've had that for about a year and a half now, and I've just been so impressed with its battery life. But it doesn't offer actual topographical maps, color maps, and showing the topography. So you can't see, where a mountain is or where a stream is. When you have the Coros Apex, it's just a breadcrumb map, and so that's the problem with the Cruel Jewel 100. I'll be way out in the Appalachian Mountains in Georgia, the Chattahoochee National Forest, and it's going to be in the middle of nowhere. Bottom line, so I really felt like I needed maps on my watch. I know you can do maps on your phone. It's definitely, you can do that, but I really didn't want to pull out my phone every time I came up to an intersection. So that's why I thought about Garmin. Well, Garmin has such a wide range of options. I mean, you can spend $350 like I did for the Garmin Fenix 5 Plus, or you can spend $1,100 for the top of the line. I think it's the Phoenix 6 now, Solar Pro or something like that. So that's $1,100. So I decided instead of doing that, I would try out the Phoenix 5 Plus. So and so far, I've liked it. But Dave, if you're still watching, the issue is battery life. I've noticed. I mean, it's just the Coros Apex. I just can tell it's going to beat out the Phoenix 5 Plus. And I think I can get away with charging it one time during my 100 miler, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So, all right, let's move on to another comment here. Let's see. Jordan says, let's see. I used the Coros Apex until recently. Great watch. Interested in how you like the Phoenix 5. There we go. So we've just been talking about. Okay, you went to the Vertex. Very nice. I like the idea of the Vertex. I'm just not sure if I really want that size of a watch on my wrist. But then again, the Phoenix 5 Plus is probably not a whole lot smaller than the Vertex. So I don't know exactly how they compare. I think the Vertex is more like a Phoenix 5X. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised with that part of this watch. So I was a little bit concerned. I had previously owned the Phoenix 3, and that's when I owned the Phoenix 3, and then I ventured off into Apple Watch, and I tried some TomTom watches and things like that. I never came back to Garmin, and I even tried. Yeah, I went to a couple different options, and then eventually got to Coros. But I'm actually not. It's not too big on my wrist. This Phoenix 5 Plus. I think it's lighter than the Phoenix 3. I still don't know. I got rid of the Phoenix 3, so I can't really compare that. I probably should dig deep and see if I can find some stats on that. But the Phoenix 3, I felt like I was always hitting things. Dave's talked about that on his channel. Even walking through a hallway or a doorway, it glances off the doorway, or it catches corners in the car. The Phoenix 3 was difficult to even put my sleeve down on my wrist. And that still is a bit of a challenge with the Phoenix 5 Plus, but I feel like maybe it's lighter. I just don't notice that bulkiness. So anyway, not bad. Okay, so Nicholas says he loves his Suunto 9 Baro, but nav maps is the one feature I kind of wish I had. That's what he says. Yes, that's right, Nicholas. So that's why I bought the Phoenix 5 Plus, having those maps. Quick comments on Suunto. So I did go Suunto for a little while too, after my Phoenix 3. The problem with Suunto that I had, and maybe it's because I had the Spartan Sport, I think, but and maybe it's because I bought a used model. It probably was a mistake. But I had a big problem with the battery life, and that might be because it was used. But I ran specifically. I ran a 50K. No, I'm sorry. I ran a 100K, and with the Suunto, it wasn't the Baro 9. It was the Spartan Sport or what have you, and it ran out of battery like a third the way through the 100K, and I had to charge it 2 or 3 times. Honestly, it's that bad memory that moved me to Coros, because when I found out how good the battery life was with Coros, I switched and I went to the Apex, and I've loved that watch. The Apex, quite honestly, has been the best watch I've owned up until now. So definitely this Phoenix 5 Plus has a lot to live up to. And I'm not quite sure yet if I'm buying into it. So let's take a look. David Job says, I use the 5X. It's worked great for me, especially when trail exploring with the maps. I carry a small battery charger if I need to recharge in the run. Yep. So that's what I did with the Suunto, and that's what I've done in the past with watches when I'm on an extra long run, or definitely a race like 100K, or even the 100 miler. But it's just so annoying to do that. I just would love to have a watch that lasts a full 100 miles, and I know it will in ultra track mode, but I'm not buying into ultra track mode. I'd like to test it out a bit, and I probably will in one of my long runs here before the Cruel Jewel 100. I just don't think it's that accurate. I think Dave at Chase the Summit, he said that, and I'm really curious about his opinion. If he's still here, I'd love to hear him see a comment on that. Ultra track mode, I'm just not sure if it can really give you an accurate track. Like I don't want to run a 100 miler and then finish at mile 90 and realize that I had planned everything wrong because ultra track was wrong. So that's kind of what I don't want to do. And I definitely don't want to be thinking at mile 90, am I almost done or not? I just don't want to do that. That you're in so much pain as it is at that point. So let's see. Jordan Crandall says, it doesn't feel awkward to me in terms of size. Initially, I was worried about that too. I did 100 this weekend with the Vertix in 20 hours and used 30% of battery life and regular GPU. Wow. Okay. Yeah. The Vertix is a beast. You did 100K or 100 miler in 20 hours. I'm going to, wow. I mean, if you did 100 miler in 20 hours, that's amazing, man. Well done. Congratulations on that. The Mohican 100, I finished in 31 hours and 30 minutes. So it was my first finish of a 100 miler. But wow, that's really good. What was your 100? I'd be really curious to hear that. So definitely mention that here. Um, there aren't, I think more 100 milers are happening, thankfully. But last year was such a really a depressing year for me at least, just because I ran the Bandera 100K down in San Antonio, and then the world shut down. I'm glad I got that race in, or else I think I'd go nuts. But I did go down to San Antonio and run that race, which was awesome. It was put on by Hoka One and went really well. I think I did the 100K in 15 hours and 30 minutes. It was under the Western States qualifying time, so I was at least happy for that. So 100 milers is first. The Prairie Spirit, okay, in Ottawa, Kansas. Wow, okay. The Prairie Spirit. I've never heard of that. And you did it in 20 hours on your first 100 miler. Wow, man, that's very, very impressive. Um, I'd love to see how you do in your next one. So in your first 100 miler. So way to go. Maybe mention in the comments here. I'd be curious to hear what kinds of training you did as you were getting your long runs. How far did you go in your longest training run? And did you do any other races that you want to mention as a part of your training? So that's one thing that I'm kind of bouncing around a lot, but that's one thing that I'm definitely I think going to be missing out on this time around for Cruel Jewel, is that there really aren't many races up here in Ohio that are happening right now as far as ultra running. So I'm not going to have a race to do to prep. I probably should have gone over to Indiana and run with Ryan Clayton at the OPSF 50K that he just did, because really in Ohio we just don't have many right now that are happening. So that I know of. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I'm kind of having to do my own thing. Um, I think next weekend I need to carve out some time and do a 50K for sure. And then I want to do either a 50 miler or a 100K in about 3 weeks. So we've got about 7 weeks until the race. So until the Cruel Jewel 100 down in Georgia. So that's what we're getting ready for. But that's what we're talking about. So, all right. So I talked about the Garmin Phoenix 5 Plus, talked about its size. I talked about, that's another picture of it. The size, I've talked about the battery life. That's my main concern, is the battery life. I do want to mention it. You can actually listen to music on this watch, which is great. I kind of miss the Apple Watch for that reason. I used to love my Apple Watch because I could listen to Apple Music on my runs, but of course the battery life on that is ridiculous. So there's no way you can do ultra marathons with an Apple Watch. Nothing more, at least, than maybe I don't know, like a 25K or something. But so I'm happy about that. The problem is, again, it kills battery life. So I won't be doing that for my 100 miler. I'll have my phone along anyway. So the real thing another thing that I really like about this Phoenix 5 Plus is the Climb Pro. I love Climb Pro. That's an awesome feature. If you haven't looked into that and you're interested in a Garmin watch, man, being able to see the hill you're about to go on and how long it lasts, I think is going to be very, very useful when I'm in Georgia for the Cruel Jewel, because some of those mountains, can go on for quite a long time. 2,000 feet, 3,000 foot gains. So I think it'd be very useful for false summits and things like that to look at Climb Pro and be able to know really how long you have left in a climb. So let's take a look here. All right. So Jordan says, His longest training run was 20 miles, usually less, around 15 or 18. No back-to-back long runs, but did lots of daily double and triples. I averaged 65, 75 miles a week. That sounds great. I mean, that's pretty. You're crushing it, man. To be able to run a 100 miler in 20 hours, well under the well sought after 24-hour mark. 4 hours faster than, I mean, that's amazing. 20-hour 100 miler. I'd be curious to see if I don't know if you're interested in trying to go after a golden ticket for Western States next year. I'm not sure if there's any, because I mean that's very competitive. I don't know how that matches up with some of the elites, but I mean, really, I'd love to see you in like the Bandera 100K. I think they finished that in. I think the golden tickets last year went for I think 8 hours, 9 hours. But if you can run a 20-hour 100 miler, I don't see why you couldn't do 100K in 8 or 9 hours. I'd love to see what happens there, man. So let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh, okay, yeah. So usually 15 or 18. Oh, and then the no back-to-back long runs. So that's one thing I did before my Mohican 100 that I think was kind of my secret sauce to be able to finish that. Um, I had a problem. I don't know if you saw some of my training videos before the Mohican 100 in the fall, but because of I've got a family and I've got a job, and I've got kids. There's a lot going on during the week, so I decided I took a chance and I decided to make my strategy to emphasize the weekends. I know that's not really like something special. I mean, a lot of people do that. But what I did was I chose to do these back to back long runs. So I did a couple, I did a couple 20 mile back to backs. And then I did one weekend, I did 20, 20, 20, a 20-mile Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a total of 100K in the weekend. And that really got me ready. So that worked out really well. But anyway, oh, here we go. Let's see. Jordan says, my last month, I climbed to an 80 mile, 90 mile, and 105-mile week. Wow. I did a 6 hour event 2 weeks before and got 36.75 miles on that as my longest run. Wow. That's great. Good job, man. But yeah, you should seriously check out a golden ticket race and see what you can do, man. The um, Black Canyon 100K, I think, is one every year. The Bandera 100K down in San Antonio, and then there's a couple others. I think there's a couple in California, and I can't honestly know. I think maybe they've canceled a couple with COVID, but anyway. So yeah, I'd be curious if anybody else has any races that they are looking to run. Definitely mention in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. Jordan says Western States feels like or sounds like or seems like a dream. Good advice on Bandera. Yeah, let me tell you about Bandera. So give you a little scouting ahead of time if you try it. First of all, the weather was amazing. It's in January. It's in San Antonio. So now we got a good day. I have heard sometimes it's kind of chilly, and the weather can be unpredictable. But the day I was out there, it was like 65, 70 degrees, sunny all day long, and you do two loops around a 50K course. Um, Big notes on this, I guess, cliff notes on that race. It's very rocky, so you got to be careful with that. And it's very dry, and it can be hot, and it can be, the weather can be unpredictable. So make sure you're hydrated. But the nice thing is, if you have a crew with you, they can set up camp at the 50K mark. So you definitely, and there's a couple other spots that they can meet you at. And for that race, I brought along my dad, who's on this live stream right now, I believe, and my mom and my kids came along. So they kind of they went around to the different aid stations, but having that home base where you can park and have a car right in the middle with a two loop course really worked out well. So so I definitely think that's a good race. I really enjoyed that race. I think vertical gain was, I think, 14,000 feet total over 100K. I may be wrong on that. It may have been 8 or 9,000. It's not too bad. It's definitely manageable. Some big hills. It's in the hill country in Texas down there, about an hour and a half west of San Antonio. So it's not flat. It's in the hill country, but it's really pretty. You got a lot of arid climate type plants and things. Not sure if there's cacti, but it was kind of neat. I really enjoyed it. I used to live down in San Antonio as a kid. So anyway, let's see. What do we got? David Jobs. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly, David. I'm doing a 24-hour race in 3 weeks. Oh, wow. 24-hour races. Man, that's a whole can of worms. I've never done one. Is it on a track? I'd be curious to hear. Or is it is it just a loop on a trail? It's just some of these people that can go, especially around a track, just uh, you know, for 24 hours. It's just insane. Like I cannot imagine doing that. I think the track would be better on your joints and things, I guess. Well, than pavement, but not better than a trail. Dirt is probably better and more forgiving. Yeah, I think definitely I don't recommend that you do that without some solid training. So anyway, so I'm really having fun with this live stream. I'm glad it's going well, and I'm glad you guys came out to check it out. Let's see. I definitely wanted to mention to everybody that I'll be interviewing Ultra Trail Steven on Thursday at 9 o'clock. So on April 1st, 2 days from now. And I don't know if you've been watching any of my videos, but we'll glance on some of the Barkley Marathon's controversy that happened. We're going to try not to spend a whole lot of time on that, to be honest, though. It seems like everyone's kind of moving on, and but I may ask him a few questions about that. And he just did an interview with John Kelly, who was the 15th finisher of the Barkley Marathons, and so he'll definitely probably talk about that interview. If you haven't seen that interview, definitely check it out on Ultra Trail Stevens YouTube channel, because it's an interesting interview. I think it's about 40 minutes long, and they go into some of the drama that surrounds Barkley, some of the reasoning behind the restrictions, but also talk about some of the frustrations that people have with those restrictions. So if you have seen some of my videos, or I have two videos in particular where I discuss that very recently. A bunch of people watch those videos, and so there are some interesting things that happened, and we'll be discussing that a little bit. And I also want to interview. I just want to interview Steven and find out kind of how he got to where he is now. And I think that would be just an interesting interview. So if you haven't heard of Ultra Trail Steven, he has a YouTube channel. Check out his YouTube channel. He has, I think about 1,500 YouTube subscribers. He's coming up on 2,000, but he's a fast-growing YouTube channel. So really interesting guy, and I've had a lot of fun getting to know him a bit over the past couple weeks. So let's take a few more questions here, and then I want to let everybody go over to Ryan Clayton. I don't know if you knew that he has a live stream tonight. I'm sure you did. Probably most of you are subscribed to his channel, but I definitely wanted to check it out. And so I'm going to go over and do that myself. Let's see here. Okay, so David says Prince William National Forest Park. Okay, wow. Okay, great. Man, that sounds okay. So it's probably a trail 24-hour race. That sounds exciting. Um, I'm going to be doing these at least once a week. So stop by next week. I'm not sure which day. Just hit the bell notification if you want to be notified of when this is going to happen, and you'll probably see it in your feed. But I'd love to hear more about that, David. So thanks for letting us know. Good luck. That's in 3 weeks, so maybe we'll talk again before the race. Sarusol says, yeah, okay, 7,500 feet ish elevate. I was close on my second guess. So when I said 8,000, yeah, 14,000. That's not right. Yeah, it's not bad. With the rocks, it can be a little bit challenging. If you're going to run Bandera, just watch your footing, and hope for a good day. Again, the weather can be a little bit unpredictable, but man, that day this was in January of 2020, so just over a year ago. It was really cool. I don't remember if they had Bandera this year or not. I wasn't paying attention because I ran it last year in 2020. Okay, yeah, all right. So Srusel says the EVO is treating you well. No, I'm sorry to say that. Oh man, I feel terrible. They are not. Here's the story on the EVO speed goats. So the EVO, let's talk about. I can go for a long time on this, but to put it Make a long story short, no. Um, the Speedgoat threes, as if you've seen my video on that, I really like the Speedgoat threes. I still have them. They're about 10 feet away from me. I'd run and grab it, but I don't want to waste your time. The Speedgoat 3.0s were great. Then I tried the Speedgoat 4s very briefly. I didn't post any reviews on YouTube. I should have, but they just didn't feel right. I kept having this issue with my metatarsals and my left foot. And so I thought the EVO Speedgoat might do better than the Speedgoat 4s, but it had the same issue. And I think it has to do with how narrow the toe box is. And I don't know, it's not that narrow, but I think it's more narrow than what my foot has grown accustomed to. What I mean by that is I've been running Ultra shoes a lot. So my feet are very used to that really wide toe box. And so it's an awesome shoe. I so wanted to keep those EVO Speedgoats because they're so light. The cushion is great. I mean, that midsole is really nice. If you don't have a problem with the narrow toe box, definitely check out the EVO Speedgoats. But yeah, I just packed them up today. As a matter of fact, I gave them one more try. I just packed them up and returned them back. And I'm going to be ordering another pair of Ultra Olympus shoes. So yeah, thanks for asking though. Let's see. All right. Um, Jordan says, keep up the videos. I like the authentic, laid back style. You're doing a great job with consistency and content. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, I guess it is kind of laid back. I don't, I don't know. I would like to be real, so some things I like, some things I don't. I try to be honest with my opinions. I think sometimes that gets me into some trouble if you saw the Barkley videos, but I just like to be straight and to the point. I like to be fair though too. So I love our sport. I really enjoy ultra running, and so I definitely don't want to do anything that harms the sport. And sometimes though, you got to speak up. So that's what I did with the Barkley Marathons videos that I made. All right. Oh yeah. Okay. Hey Logan, what's going on? Little shout out to my son's friend from school. Thanks for showing up, and now my son is also showing up. So that's great. Right at the end of the video, guys. Good job. I'm just kidding. Thanks for joining. All right, guys. I'm going to cut it short tonight because I want us to go over and check out Ryan Clayton's his live stream that he has going on right now. He's been going on now probably for about 5-10 minutes, so a little bit late. I want to let you go. Thanks again for joining me tonight. Definitely, if you can, check out the interview on Thursday night of Ultra Trail Steven. Really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and certainly going to be taking questions from anybody that that comes into the video and asks them down in the comments. So thanks again, guys. Hope you're doing well. Keep your training going strong, and we'll catch you in the next one.